The hospital corridor stretched endlessly, the sterile scent of antiseptic mingling with the faint echoes of hurried footsteps and whispered conversations. My heart hammered in my chest as I walked beside Lily's gurney, the wheels squeaking softly with each turn. Her face was pale, her lips pressed together in a thin line of pain. I reached out and gently squeezed her hand, trying to offer whatever comfort I could. "Daddy, it hurts," she whimpered, tears welling up in her eyes. "I know, sweetheart," I replied, my voice thick with emotion. "But we're almost there. The doctors will take good care of you." As we approached the examination room, a nurse appeared, her smile warm and reassuring. "Mr. Anderson, we're ready for Lily now. We'll take good care of her, I promise." I nodded gratefully, my heart heavy with worry as Lily was wheeled away. Alone in the waiting room, I sank into a chair, my mind swirling with a whirlwind of emotions. How had this happened? Where was my wife, Sarah? She was supposed to be taking Lily ice skating today. When I arrived at the hospital, I found Lily in a small, sterile room, her arm in a cast. She looked so small and vulnerable lying there. As soon as she saw me, her eyes filled with tears, and she reached out her good hand. "Daddy," she whimpered. "It hurts." I held her close, trying to soothe her pain. "I know, sweetheart. I'm here now." As I comforted Lily, I couldn't help but wonder where Sarah was. The nurse had no information about her, and Lily was too young to understand the complexities of the situation. All I knew was that my wife was supposed to be with our daughter, but she was nowhere to be found. After a few hours, Lily's friend's mother, Mrs. Thompson, arrived. She looked uncomfortable, shifting from foot to foot. "Mr. Anderson, I need to tell you something," she said, avoiding my eyes. "Sarah left Lily with me at the ice rink. She said she had to run an errand and would be back soon, but she never returned. I had to bring Lily here when she fell and broke her wrist." Anger and disbelief surged through me. Sarah had abandoned our daughter? What could have been so important that she left Lily alone? "Do you know where she went?" I asked, my voice barely controlled. Mrs. Thompson hesitated, then sighed. "I'm not sure, but I heard she was meeting someone." "I'm so sorry, Mr. Anderson. I tried to keep Lily safe." I thanked her for her help and focused on Lily, but inside, my mind was racing. When Sarah finally walked through the hospital doors hours later, looking disheveled and guilty, I was ready to confront her. "Where the hell have you been?" I demanded, keeping my voice low so as not to scare Lily. Sarah looked at me, her face pale. I had something to do." "Something to do?" I repeated, incredulous. "You left our daughter alone, and she ended up in the hospital with a broken wrist." Tears welled up in Sarah's eyes, but I was too furious to care. "I was with someone," she admitted, her voice barely a whisper. "I thought it would be fine since Mrs. Thompson was there." "You thought it would be fine?" I said, my voice rising. "You abandoned our daughter to meet up with some guy? Do you have any idea how irresponsible and selfish that is?" Sarah's tears flowed freely now, but I couldn't stop. "If you had behaved, we could have retired comfortably when you were 48 or so," I said, my voice cold. "But now, you'll have to work for yourself. Every day, you'll be reminded of how badly you screwed up. You'll be working until you're 70, hating every minute of it." I wasn't usually a vindictive person, but the idea of Sarah facing the consequences of her actions gave me a bitter sense of satisfaction. She had thrown away everything we had built together for a fleeting moment of pleasure. Sarah tried to apologize, but I had heard enough. "Save it," I said. "We're done. Once I get everything sorted, I'll be filing for divorce. You'll have to live with the choices you made." The days that followed were a blur of legal proceedings and custody arrangements. I focused on Lily, making sure she was cared for and loved. The betrayal still stung, but I refused to let it consume me. Lily needed me now more than ever, and I was determined to be the best father I could be for her. As the weeks passed, Sarah tried to reach out, begging for forgiveness and promising to change. But the damage had been done, and I couldn't trust her anymore. Lily was my priority, and I would do whatever it took to protect her from any further harm. Despite the pain and heartache, life went on. Lily's cast was removed, and she returned to her bubbly, adventurous self. We spent our weekends hiking in the mountains, exploring new parks, and making memories together. I cherished every moment with her, grateful for the precious time we shared. Meanwhile, Sarah struggled to adjust to life on her own. She found herself working long hours at a job she despised, the weight of her choices bearing down on her shoulders. I couldn't help but feel a pang of satisfaction knowing that she was facing the consequences of her actions. As the years passed, Lily grew into a bright, resilient young woman. She excelled in school, made friends easily, and dreamed of becoming a doctor one day. Despite everything that had happened, she remained compassionate and forgiving, always looking for the good in people. As for me, I found solace in my work as a firefighter. Saving lives and helping others gave me a sense of purpose and fulfillment that I couldn't find anywhere else. I poured myself into my career, grateful for the opportunity to make a difference in the world. And though the pain of Sarah's betrayal still lingered, it had softened with time. I had learned to let go of the anger and resentment, focusing instead on the love and happiness that surrounded me. Life had thrown me a curveball, but I had emerged stronger and more resilient than ever before. In the end, I realized that true happiness didn't come from material wealth or external validation. It came from the love of family, the warmth of friendship, and the satisfaction of knowing that you had lived your life with integrity and compassion. And as I watched Lily grow into a confident, compassionate young woman, I knew that despite the challenges we had faced, we had come out on the other side stronger and more united than ever before. Together, we had weathered the storm, emerging with a newfound appreciation for the precious gift of life and the power of love to heal even the deepest wounds.